Hello, this is John Curtis, and you're listening to the V2 Football Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the V2 Football Podcast. I'm Anthony Kendrick. Joining me this week, we've got Shane Lees.
Hello.
And we've got Richard Hero Hudson.
Well, hello.
You said something different for once. I don't like it. say good evening.
Good evening.
All right, well, good. We can carry on now.
All right, I'll start with the good news story of the week. Adam Johnson.
Did you say good news story? Not sure it's good.
Right. Adam Johnson, as we know from before, he's been found guilty and he has 6 years. He's been sentenced to 6 years in jail. There's nothing really further I want to comment on it. I don't know if either of you would like to say anything.
Good riddance.
Yeah, lame lot.
Better to get the bad eggs out of football. Get the game back to what it's supposed to be about.
PFA have said he probably won't ever play again, and yeah, I guess he probably won't. All right, let's move on to something a bit lighter. Did either of you watch the FIFA Interactive World Cup this week?
No.
FIFA 16. An English lad got to the final, didn't he?
Yeah, I watched it. Really enjoyed it, actually. There's a guy called Mohamed Al-Bakr who he won $20,000. He came from 3-1 down in the 87th minute. He scored in the 81st and 93rd minute to draw 3-3, which won him the final on the away goals rule.
That's really impressive. I heard he had a really great party in his mum's basement. It was like a pizza party, you know. They've got to have their moment.
Well, $20,000, you can have a pretty good party with that.
You are aware how much $20,000 is in exchange rate? That's like less than minimum wage. And he probably works every single day at that. That's pretty crap, actually. Like, if he's just doing this casually and it turns out he's amazing, brilliant, good on you, mate. But he probably plays for like 12 hours every day. So,
well, there was another lad, an English lad, who said he was quitting playing FIFA as a sport because it was too stressful for him because the game is too much based on luck and he prefers playing other games. Yeah. And I get pretty annoyed when you can see the goal on FIFA. If it was $20,000, I think.
Yeah, I rage quite a lot when I play FIFA. But the thing is, I'm completely aware that the bullshit I get in my favour goes just equally against me. So it's sort of like, you just have to accept it's all mostly crap. But yeah, I don't have anything against like the whole esports thing. Apparently it's a lot bigger on the continent and Asia and things. So, you know, good for them for doing it, but like 20 grand in dollars.
I had
job is a crap wage. Like you can't. People who are working KFC in America more than that.
Can I just say that I had Peter Crouch score a backheel goal from outside the box earlier. I was pretty impressed with that.
I had someone score a 30-yard bicycle kick, which someone crossed it in, and it was the weakest cross in the entire world. And the second it hit his boot, it flew about 200 miles an hour. It was one of those moments where I was like, that's really impressive, but I don't think that could ever happen even on Mars. Like, even in low gravity.
Ibra did that.
Yeah, but Ibrahimovic is Ibrahimovic. This was some Brazilian player from Moscow. This was ridiculous.
Let's stick with Ibrahimovic. There's a Mata said this week he'd love to play with Ibrahimovic, and the rumours seem to be getting stronger that he is going to be going to United in the summer.
Well, have you seen the other news about the Man United promotional video for their tour?
Yeah, I did. He's not. Yeah. Van Gaal is not in the any of the promotional material, but
I do want to say two things about Ibrahimovic quickly. First things first, I would never get excited about any player until it's confirmed. So I mean, there's every chance he's a free agent, go wherever the hell he wants. And the other thing is, Man United have had a bit of a history in the last few seasons of signing world-class players and then just turning them to shit. Falcao, Di Maria. I mean, it's just sort of like
Schweinsteiger.
Yeah, let's wait for 10 games if he does go there, and then sort of go yay. Because anyone else who listens to this show regularly will remember how excited Richard was about Falcao. Do you remember that? Falcao.
Yes.
Oh, it was so tragic. So we shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves.
Wait, am I starting from?
The part of me actually doesn't want United to sign him because of how great a player he has been.
You just know he's going to be turned to crap.
But yeah, I just don't want us to ruin him.
It's a difficult one. I think he might be a bit like Van Persie. I think he's got that quality, and I think he can win us a league title. But I don't know.
I'd hope so. Well, he wins a title wherever he goes. So
Yeah, there's also that.
Well, he's,
I think
he's an outstanding player, but let's face it, United have had quite a few of those in the last few years, and it hasn't done them any good. I say for Man United, it's got to be about building a whole team, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'd think I'd prefer United to go back to their let's buy like the 18, 19-year-olds that are on the cusp of becoming a good player.
Well, hey,
and-
you might even have some in your academy. There's a novel idea.
Yeah, well, we used to. Yeah, we've bought a fair few as well at that age.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't make Ronaldo at the youth level, but we certainly made him at the world level.
All right, let's move on. Benteke's. There's the other story of Christian Benteke, who's a bit sad because he feels he's being ignored by Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. I've got a quote. He says, "When your coach said he wanted to take you to Dortmund and a little later you sit at the same club and he ignores you, it's hard to understand. We'll see at the end of the season." So that's quoted on Sky Sports, and
We just stop.
Poor
He needs to
Benteke
stop
maybe.
being shit.
Well, I do think it's a bit of a case of he's just not been used properly. If you've got a player like Christian Benteke, you know he'll score you the goals. You do just kind of have to play a bit of a dirty football of lumping it forward. It's a bit, yeah, I know it's harsh because he's not a Liverpool standard player, but they knew that when they were buying him. They knew what they were getting.
Klopp
It's not
didn't
like-
buy him, did it?
Yeah, it's not like they've signed a crap player and it's just turned out he's really crap. They've signed a player who's very good at one particular thing and they're asking him to do the complete opposite. So naturally, he's not going to be very good at it. It's not a shock. It's like signing.
He's just not a. He's not a Gengham pressing style footballer.
Yeah, it's signing a centre back and then playing him at right back and being shocked that it turns out he's not very quick. He's actually just meant to be sitting in behind and clearing balls with his head. It's one of those things. I think it's just a bit harsh.
But
Well, it's like buying Messi and then just oofing the ball up to him every 5 minutes.
Yeah, welcome to the club, Messi. You're now a central midfielder. Get in on the tackle, son.
he could still play well there, though. He'd have some creativity at centre mid, to be fair to him.
Yeah, he's Messi. He could probably play anywhere, but it's an example.
I want to stick him in the net.
To see him play centre back, actually. All right. There's also news about the drug testing in Scotland. There's only been 8 drug tests in 9 months. In England, we did 1,000 in a similar period. Does this sound a bit dodgy to you?
No, because if they're taking something, it's clearly not working, so...
Are they taking relaxants? What?
Yeah, they're just taking laxatives or something along those lines. Because, I mean, they could be
Did they
taking...
sit on the pitch?
They could be taking cocaine for all it matters. They're still crap. It's like if they were suddenly like playing out of their skins, I was like, yeah, sure, okay, there's something going on. But I mean, they really can't be. They can't be doping. You can't dope and be that bad. Because how bad were you in the first place, then? No, I'd be very shocked if there was something serious going on there. It's probably just they didn't think they needed to do it. It's probably just complacency more than anything else.
Well, they're saying that it's not that. It's that it's because of financial constraints, and they say they can only do so much. But personally, I don't think it's good enough. I think there's got to be more done.
Well, I'd say if it's financial...
How much does it cost for
Yeah,
test?
if it's financial constraints, then they must have about 10 grand to do it all with. Which I'd be very surprised if they had that little, considering you have a player's wages for a couple of months on that in Scotland. Anyway, I'd be surprised if it was real financial constraints, because it is not that expensive. It's expensive, it's just not filthily expensive.
I think there's cheap drug tests though you can do, and I think there's a more expensive one. I've not looked into it enough, but I'm sure doing a proper urine drug test is pretty expensive. But I don't know. I should have had the numbers really.
Well, we are not biological scientists, so we can't answer these ones. But I will say that that's not an excuse. That just sounds like the Scottish going, "Oh, we're not as rich as the Premier League. You can't have us by the same standards." Oh, get over yourselves.
Where are they from?
I was just doing default miserable bastard voice.
They sounded like they were from Birmingham then.
Oh, they might as well be. They're miserable bastards too. I've offended so many people. I'm sorry, people.
All right, let's move on to the internationals. There's a couple of interesting games. Wales and Northern Ireland playing tonight, as well as Scotland are also in action against the Czech Republic. For Wales, it's a bit disappointing. Apparently, it was a joint decision between the Welsh FA and Real Madrid that Gareth Bale wouldn't be involved, which I don't know how much of a say Wales get in Bale playing for them.
I think when you're a country like Wales, which doesn't have a massive reputation, you aren't going to have the capacity to give terms to Real Madrid. In the end, it's Gareth Bale's choice, yes, but if Real Madrid say to him, if you play for Wales this weekend, you will not be in the team for Real Madrid, I think he'd probably go, guys, it's a friendly, I'm going to have to give that one a miss. It sounds harsh, like, because you want players to be, more in favour of their country than their club. I do, at least, anyway. But you got to be realistic. It's not like he's not going to turn up to the tournament. Of course he's going to turn up to the tournament. And the fewer games he plays between now and then means he's probably going to be in better fitness and be less likely to be injured for the tournament. So it is a trade-off.
He certainly plays a lot more friendlies than Ryan Giggs ever did.
Oh, yeah, I mean, as far as like the best Welsh players, he is one of the ones who's been more committed to the Welsh national team. And I mean, he declared them almost, straight away. He didn't do the thing where he's trying to see if he can get into the England squad for a while, and turns out he's just not good. He committed straight away, and he's played a lot of games for them. So it's not like he's uncommitted, but at the point he is at in his career, you've got to kind of understand that, for friendlies at least, it's maybe not going to have the most priority.
Yeah, how many friendlies did Giggs turn out for?
Well, didn't he get less than 50 caps overall?
I was going to say, I think he got 42 or something caps for Wales.
That's ridiculous for a player of his standing and how long he lasted and how little he was injured. So,
Yeah.
He just got injured the week before there was an international.
It does sound harsh, and normally I wouldn't say something like this, but you've got to understand when it's a big enough club and it's a country without that massive stature, where every single game is a massive event, there's got to be a bit of... We can give him the odd game off. You have to accept that. And if it does mean he's in better fitness for the Euros, then all the better for Wales. If England don't do well, then I'm hoping Wales do, because at least we can have one British team do decently.
He did have time to record a pretty funny sport relief sketch with Jack Whitehall. I don't know if either of you saw it.
No.
Jack Whitehall suggested he should play for England instead, and it's quite funny. But yeah, I guess he's got time for that.
I doubt that's too pressing on his fitness.
He does have some good does some training ground free kicks and stuff in it. But anyway, big game this weekend. England play Germany Saturday night. Are you guys excited for this game?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, for God's sake, Richard. Who could we play that you'd get excited for? Satan's 11 for the fate of the Earth. Is that about it?
Were we reenacting Space Jam?
Well, we might as well. It's England v Germany. I don't care if it's a friendly. Some of the best England v Germany games have been friendlies. It's England v Germany. That's a massive derby for both countries. I'm looking forward to it. It should hopefully be a great game. We might be able to see...
I imagine we care a lot more about it than the Germans.
Well, yes, they care more about the Dutch game, but it's still a big derby for them, and especially with the more competitiveness we've had with the Premier League and the Continental Leagues and all that sort of stuff. It's all been a bit more escalated lately, because there's all that sort of divide between England and Europe. It is still a massive game, and we'll probably be able to see Jamie Vardy. We'll be able to see maybe Jack Butland get a start. We'll be able to see maybe Danny Drinkwater get his first cap. It's an exciting time. I'm looking forward to it. I am.
I agree with you, Shane. Richard, it's a bit disappointing, but what can England do to make you more interested in friendlies? What do you want out of them?
I just hate international weekends. I just want to watch club football. I don't care when they've all been dragged off to have a game with a month to go in the season.
You're a bit like Jurgen Klopp then. You don't care about the result, because I've got a quote from Klopp. He says he doesn't care if who wins, as long as all his Liverpool players get back fit. He also went on to say he got asked who he wanted to win the Euros. He said if Germany or England win, he'd be happy. So
he wants Germany to win.
No, he said, I've got a quote here. He said.
Yeah, he's saying that because he's Liverpool manager at the moment. But he's been in England for 6 months, if that.
No, he's English now. He's English. English supporting.
Nah. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Nah.
Something I am looking forward to possibly seeing with Rooney not in the squad. Vardy and Kane could play up front, which is something a lot of people are saying they want to see. If Hodgson is going to pick players based on form, is this something you think should be the case?
Well, I think
Rashford.
No, I think he said Rashford for some bloody reason. I think if friendlies are especially, and when it's a big derby game, you've got a bit of license to go out and do what you kind of want to do. I think this is a time, considering we don't have very good defensive midfield players anyway, to actually go out and try and put out a team that's going to be expressive. I say put Vardy, Kane and Sturridge on. Because, I mean, let's face it, if we're going to get beaten by the Germans, it's going to happen no matter who we play. So we might as well
play on the wing or something?
Well, no, do them three strikers, two of them going in behind, Kane the central target man. So the other two, Vardy and Sturridge, yes, they drop off to the wing occasionally to go and get the ball out wide, but by and large they're trying to come inside all the time. So it's more like inside forwards. That's what I'd have.
Okay.
We'd probably lose, but we're probably going to lose anyway.
I'd still have Welbeck over Sturridge myself.
Well, I would as well, but
Yeah.
I assume people would slate me if I didn't go instant supporting Sturridge, because everyone thinks he's amazing despite the fact he's made out of glass and sand and stuck together with sellotape.
Personally, I'd play the diamond. I'd play the likes of Dele Alli, Ross Barkley, see if they're capable behind Vardy and Kane up front. Are there any players you'd like to see? Would you like to see Drinkwater make his debut?
Yes, definitely. He's been one of England's best midfielders this year. Yeah, I think he's made, like we were saying, I think it was in the England show we did the other week, we were saying about Danny Drinkwater being quite an attacking midfielder. Turns out he's the highest tackling midfielder in the league. I mean,
I can believe that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And this is a guy who's an attacking midfielder. So that tells you all about his work rate. Who else deserves it other than Danny Drinkwater at the moment? How many really good box-to-box midfielders have we got? Milner? I'd count Milner as a quality player. I really like Milner. I think he's an excellent player. Who else is there? Quality box-to-box.
Well, this is the thing. You've got the likes of Henderson and Wilshere, who would have been saying maybe last year who should have been there, and obviously aren't.
Wilshere's a nonce who doesn't really deserve to play professional football because he just doesn't seem to want to. And I like Henderson.
Though, I'll come back on Wilshere's defence, though, and that Wilshere, when he's played for England, the last few games he's played for England, he's been man of the match.
Yeah, brilliant. Good for him. The rest of the time, he's either getting an instant yellow card and shouting obscenities at the referee and his own teammates, and generally being an absolute knob jockey, or he's dead. For whatever it matters, he might as well be dead. He's not a professional footballer. He will never be at the level people expect him to be. He will never get there. He doesn't have the attitude for it. Why are we wasting the time with him when there are better players currently? I don't understand that. He's never going to get there. He's always going to be injured. He's at that point now. What, he's 24, 25? If your body is that broken at that age, it's only getting worse. It's not going to get better. I don't know why we waste the time with him. We still seem to be convinced he could be Iniesta. He's not going to be Iniesta. Iniesta was Iniesta at this age. Yeah, he was already there. Wilshere is at best Wilshere. A shit version of everyone else who was much better than him at his age and didn't die quite as much and was not such a knob and always doing stupid crap. But at this age, for a professional footballer, you have no excuses. You don't have that excuse as a bloody 19-year-old if you've got a head on your shoulders. He hasn't got anything. He's an absolute joke of a player.
Ouch.
Oh, well, he's got 6 out of the last 7 matches he's played for England. He's got 6 man of the matches.
Good for him. I don't want him to play in any of them furthermore matches. Crap player. Henderson, though, I was so about Henderson. I like Henderson. He's got a great attitude. He's a very talented player. He's done nothing this year, though. He didn't do a lot most of last year, if we're being honest as well. Maybe he needs a word. I don't know. Hopefully Jurgen Klopp can get him playing to his best. Maybe next year. But I don't think he's really done anything in the last year and a half that merits him having a bona fide England place.
All right. Is there anything else to mention? We play Holland on Tuesday night as well, which also should be a good game. I think they've done a good job organising the friendlies, to be honest.
Yeah, they're good friendlies. They're definitely things to get excited about, unless you're Richard and you just don't care about life or anything like that. But they're good friendlies. I mean, who else could we play that would be better? The only 2 teams we could play better were Germany and Argentina. But we're probably going to realistically play 2 European sides to prepare better for the Euros. I'm excited about them. I think they'll be a good show because there's not a lot of expectation this time. If we do badly, no one's really going to care. And in fact, they're kind of going to expect it going up the teams we're going up against. But at the same time, we've got a lot of players coming into the squad for the first time. It could be exciting. It could be a good opportunity to actually show we might be a quality team with all these new players. I'm looking forward to it one way or the other.
All right. Let's move on to our quiz this week. Pretty simple quiz, to be honest. It's I'm going to ask a question, and you guys will have to take it in turns giving answers until you get one wrong, and then it's a knockout basically. So yeah, if you give me a wrong answer, you're knocked out, and the other player is the winner. I was hoping that.
Does any of it involve the Football League?
The question is as follows: name any manager who has won Manager of the Month in the Premier League since its inception at least 3 times.
What?
Name a manager who has won Manager of the Month at least 3 times since the start of the Premier League.
This year?
No, because I don't think there is any. Who's won Manager of the Month on at least 3 occasions?
Well, can I start?
Since the Premier... Hang on.
I think I get it. Let's go for it.
Yeah. They've won it 3 times since you started.
He's won it 3 or more times, yeah. Go on then, Richard, as you're so keen to start.
Well, I'll go with what won a manager of, I seem to recall, Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, he's won it more than 3 times. He's won it 27 times.
That seems surprising considering how long he's been around.
What, it's not enough, or...?
Well, he's been at Man United, 20 years? 25 years? You're both United fans, you can tell me how long it was.
Yeah.
26 he did.
That's a lot of months. 27 isn't that many.
No.
That's just over 2 years worth of months.
I think there's 10 awards in a season though, so to win 10% of the awards isn't a bad achievement.
That still seems low. Anyway, I'm going to say Arsene Wenger.
It was basically like 1 a season.
Yeah.
Arsene Wenger, because he was around for 20 years.
Yeah, he's also won it more than 3 times. He's won it 15 times, the second most.
Redknapp.
Yes, Harry Redknapp's won it 8 times. He's in place.
I'm going to go for my favourite English manager of all time, Big Sam.
Big Sam Allardyce. Yes, he's won it 6.
Shouldn't have.
Good old Glory Bolton days.
Maureen.
Who's Maureen?
Mourinho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's won it 3 times exactly.
Oh, I thought you'd had that more.
See, the numbers do seem low, don't they? I'll tell you what, actually, if there's one manager I know who's definitely won it 3 times, Ronald Koeman.
Yeah, he's won it 3 times.
Yeah.
He won it, the most recent one, I believe.
Yeah, I definitely knew that one.
Right, well, after Shane's had what he thought was the best English manager of recent times, I'll go for the actual best English manager of recent times, Bobby Robson.
Yep, won it on 6 occasions.
He was good, but he's no Sam Allardyce. Not serious, by the way. I'll go for one of the other best English managers, Kevin Keegan. Endlessly underrated, gotta be.
Most comical English manager.
Nah.
It's scary for these English managers because I'm looking down this list in theory. You can name Kevin Keegan is correct. He's won it on 5 occasions.
I can't think of many other English managers that might have done it.
There are some foreign managers just to...
Yeah, well... Ancelotti?
Yeah, he won it on 4 occasions.
Oh, I've got one. Reckon this might be where I go out, though. Martin O'Neill.
Yeah, won it 8 times, making him the 4th most.
Oh.
Yeah, 4th most.
I have a strategy now.
Pick ones that have won it more than 3 times?
How did you know?
I don't think he won any when he was at United, but I imagine he got a fair few at Everton. Moyes.
You're correct in both statements. Didn't win any at United, but won 10 at Everton. So.
Shit.
Wow!
You've got my strategy. Name people who've been around for a while.
Yeah. How did Fergie get 27 and win basically everything at United, and Moyes win what at Everton and get 10?
I'll make a comment after the quiz is finished, but yeah, there is something I want to say.
It's all relative. Okay, I'm going to go with recently back in the Premier League, Rafael Benitez.
Won it on 6 occasions.
I'm low on names now, by the way.
Yeah.
I was going to say all the obvious ones have gone. There's a couple who... They're all names you'll know, but...
I'll go for one that will probably be leaving the Premier League, but must have had it a few times with City, Pellegrini.
Oh, that's going to be my one.
Yeah, he's won it 4 times.
Well, he did pretty well with us, and he's doing well with Tottenham, so Pochettino.
Yeah, he won it 3 times. He's won it 3 times.
And Premier League. I'm trying to... How many times did Kenny Dalglish win it? I don't think he won it at all when he came back to Liverpool, which wouldn't be surprising because he was rubbish. Would he have warranted it enough when he was back with Blackburn and stuff?
They don't call you king unless you have at least 3 Premier League Manager of the Month awards. Seems you can be a king for anything if you're in Merseyside.
I want to rant about them at some other point. Let's go back through the history of the Premier League.
In the beginning...
O'Leary. He must have had a few when he was at Leeds.
Oh, he was around for a while, yeah.
David O'Leary has won it on 3 occasions.
Oh, Christ. I'm just going back through like old Southampton managers now because I just don't know enough of the other ones. I don't know how many other clubs he managed. Gordon Strachan?
Did anybody else for Southampton win anything?
Yeah. We get small awards.
Is Gordon Strachan your answer?
Yeah, Gordon Strachan.
Yeah, he's won it 4 times.
Ooh. I'm out of Southampton
How
managers.
did he win it 4 times?
Because if you go to Southampton, you get at least 3.
He's probably one of my favourite pundits on TV as well.
He's amusing, but he's amusing. That's it. I'm struggling now. I've been through all the Chelsea managers.
How much time have you got?
Oh, we haven't. Well,
there's 7 left on the list. Just to...
Bloody hell.
This year's guy, you've not said him, have you? Ranieri.
Oh, piss.
He must be on it. He must have won it 3 times this year.
He's won it on 3 occasions. Yeah.
How many times has he won it this year? He must have.
I don't have it to hand, I'm afraid. I think he's definitely won it twice, at least. He might have won it previously at Chelsea or something. I'm not sure.
He should have it every single month this year.
He's only got 3 awards, unfortunately, but it's enough.
I'm going to stick with my current strategy and just naming Southampton managers. Alan Pardew was crap for us. He won us for Johnson's Paint Trophy, and no one else in the Premier League can sing that.
Well, for at least 3 months, he wasn't crap. He won the Manager of the Month 3 times.
It definitely wasn't for us. Wow.
Have you seen he's been involved in this thing with the Newcastle player?
Gutierrez, yeah. Because Gutierrez is trying to sue the club for not giving him a new contract.
Good for him. Treated him like crap. He kept them up. Well,
there's 2 sides to every story.
Yeah, whichever side Mike Ashley's on is the wrong one.
I've said him already, so I'll have a punt on him. Dalglish.
Unfortunately, that is wrong, and Shane has won.
I thought, but
doesn't he have to?
Yeah, Richard went first. Richard went first.
All right, I was just playing until we knocked out, but okay.
I shouldn't have said that. I haven't got any more names. I'm just gonna. Alright, I tell you what. This is gonna be right out there because he's one of my favourite managers, despite the fact he's never actually had any kind of modicum of success. But I've always liked the way he played. Stuart Pearce. Oh, for fucked up.
Yeah, that confirms the victory. He's won it 3 times.
How's he won it 3 times?
Oh, you gotta love Stuart Pearce, haven't you? Gotta love Psycho.
He's hardly been a manager in the Premier League.
He was at City, weren't he, for a bit? He had a.
Yeah, but not that long.
He did quite well with them, though, if I remember at the time.
Wasn't he only there for a season?
Yeah.
Well, he had a really good season then.
So I'm going to say
he didn't because he only lasted a season.
I'm going to say this now. I've always rated Stuart Pearce, and I think when he was at the under-21s, what he was doing, it turns out, was much more ahead of its time, and we're now regretting. I do think we're regretting sacking him from the under-21s when we did. He's a good manager.
Who else was them?
The other good managers, Alan Kirbishley, Brendan Rodgers, Gerard Houllier, and Joe Kinnear, and Roy Hodgson.
You really don't have to do a lot to win one of these, do you? But at the same time, if you're a good manager, you have to bloody do everything. How the hell did Alex Ferguson only get 27?
Only 27.
Well, 26.
Wasn't Mancini in there?
26 years.
Who, sorry?
Mancini not in there?
Nope, not according to this.
Oh, he was my next guest, so.
26 years, possibly the greatest manager in all of history, not just for Premier League, and you average out one manager of the month a season.
The thing is being at a club like United, I guess it's harder to win manager of the month you
just have to have the monopoly on the Premier League and be the most dominant manager and team in a decade.
Oh, no, I mean, because to win it in 1 month, if a team has particularly good form or punch above their weight that month, then they're more likely to win. If I don't know, that
was why my Southampton strategy just worked. We always punch above our weight.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from that. That was a great quiz, great, well played, and congratulations.
Well played, Shane.
I was guessing at the end, so I can't take much credit.
Well, my next guess was the wrong one anyway.
The top 4 race in the Premier League is getting pretty interesting. It was a great win for United against City last weekend. Wouldn't you agree, Rich?
Yes. I wore my red jumper to work on Monday.
What did you make of the game, Shane? I guess you can be a bit more neutral.
It was a good game. It was a good game to watch. I don't want to be harsh to Man United here because they had a young English player who scored the winning goal and is looking very promising, but they got lucky. They got very lucky. I'm not saying like there was bullshit going for them or anything like that. It's just it's the bounces of the ball and all that sort of stuff. That could very easily have been 3-1 City, that game. I think City were good and they just didn't score. It sounds like one of those crap excuses, but they had all the chances, they just didn't score. Man United had one very good chance and they took it. So it was a good game, and Man United can be very happy and very proud that they won that one. But at the same time, just a few minor things go differently in that game. Tiny, tiny things, and it's a completely different result. And maybe Louis van Gaal's been sacked before the end of the season.
I think the fact that the game beforehand against Moscow, which City had on the Tuesday, I was actually at. But the fact that Company and Otamendi went off first half, and so they were stuck with the Tuchel brothers at the back.
Demichelis is just like his career is over.
Seriously, what was he doing?
I think he might have been spending a week in Scotland with their doping.
The fact that he managed to injure his own goalkeeper.
I'm not trying to be harsh, but that is literally one of the worst performances I've ever seen by an individual player. That was awful.
It was interesting.
City now, you look at them and they're in free fall in the league.
It's really weird because they're having one of their best ever seasons in Europe.
Yeah, well, it is their best season. They've never got as far in the Champions League, but they've not won 2 consecutive games in the league since October.
Well, they've lost.
I'm sure even Aston Villa have done better than that.
No, they haven't.
No, probably.
Somehow
they've not won 1 consecutive game in the league since
Somehow
October.
Aston Villa end up being a butt of every joke. Sorry, Villa fans.
To still be in 4th place and not won 2 games in a row for how many months is it? We now it's coming up for 6 months.
They won the first 5 of the season, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it's not been since then. So it's been a while.
Well, I think it's just because we all know it's a low point scoring season this year. Teams in the top 4 aren't going to get as many points as they have done in previous years. Whoever wins the title is going to be winning on low points. So it's kind of understandable because no one else has really done any better. Everyone's getting beaten by the same sides. Teams like Stoke are going to everyone and smashing them. You can't beat West Ham home or away, that sort of thing. So it is quite understandable how they've managed to pull it off for so long.
They've also only had 1 win, I think, against any of the top 8 teams.
Yeah, they pointed that out after the top 6 head-to-head, the big 6: Leicester, Spurs, Arsenal, City, United, and Liverpool. Who was it?
And United.
The top 6 head-to-head record. All the teams were, I think, 12 to 14 points apart from City, who had 3 points. It was 3 draws.
Are you Arsenal in disguise? Are you Arsenal in disguise? That is what Arsenal do every year.
Yeah.
They're doing it.
The thing is, with the top, if you take Leicester and Spurs you assume they're going to be in the top 4. After that, it's a really good scrap.
I assume one of them is going to win the league, not just get top 4.
I'm assuming those two are the top. Assuming those two are the top 2, you've got Arsenal 55 points, City 51, and West Ham and United both on 50. And it's going to be close to who gets in the top 4.
If I had to bet on anyone, I'd bet on West Ham. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, oh, that's just because you like the underdog. Yes, I like the underdog. But my thinking is momentum. Man United cannot hold any momentum this season. Sometimes they're very good. They've had a few games that have been very good. Then they're just the next game, no reason whatsoever. Just crap. Just completely uninspiring. Don't do anything. Been great in the big games. No one can criticise Van Gaal for that. Hasn't done it in the small games. And West Ham just seem to be raising up for everyone they play. And City, with the injuries they've got, and the fact that they are going to be, because they've got these injuries, prioritising Europe even more, I think West Ham have got just about the right momentum that they could nick it.
I think it'll be West Ham as well. I think the only concern for them is that they're so centred around Payet at the moment. If something happened to Payet, I think that's it for their season.
So you're both assuming Arsenal would take third place?
I think
they'll probably still drop down to fourth somehow.
Well, stay in the top four though.
Yeah. Arsenal are in bad form, but it's Arsenal. They always put it out of the bag. They never managed to do it for actually winning a title, but they always put it out of the bag for finishing top four. You think there gets to a certain point with every single one of Wenger's seasons where he must just turn to his players now and just go, right, we almost had it, but can you actually start playing now or we're in real trouble? And
But it's usually when they know that they can't win it.
Yeah, that's when the players start responding and start playing the expressive, great football that Arsenal are known for. So for me, it's too unfeasible to see Arsenal drop out of it. Man City, yeah, very realistic that they could drop out of it. But I don't think Man United will be the ones to fill that gap because I think Man United are as inconsistent as City. And the only team that's having any consistency in that race is West Ham. Because Man United are beating... I said this about Van Gaal when he first came to Man United. He's going to be great in the big games. Small games, that's where he's going to have trouble. Because he's not going to be used to that kind of pressure in the small matches. It's exactly that way. Been great against teams like City, all those sorts of teams. He's been doing very well in the big games for the last 2 years now, hasn't he? Smaller games, that's where it all gets decided. And I think West Ham are the team that are beating the small teams, but they are so up for the big games as well. That's the difference to me.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think West Ham will nick it and possibly even get third, the way that they're playing.
And wouldn't that be an incredible year for the Premier League? Leicester win. I'm gonna say Leicester win because I'm kind of hoping that happens. Tottenham second. I don't like Tottenham, but at least they're not a top four team. And West Ham. 3 teams who haven't got in the top 4 in how many years? All in there. That would be brilliant for the Premier League. That's a real shake-up. That's a proper, let's actually change how this league goes. That's
my one I think it's absolutely brilliant for those 3 clubs. My one concern with it, which I mentioned it on the forum, is going forward in Europe, will that have an even worse... Will that then start putting us behind Italy?
Well, I would turn around and say... traditional logic would say yes, because you're probably going to say they're not as good quality teams. But on the other hand, we've been shit in Europe for years now. Can it get any worse?
Well,
can we be crapper than we are at the moment? Because we've had these great teams with the great quality players in Europe for years now. Haven't done anything. How much worse is it going to get?
Wise, we're going to end up behind Italy within about 2-3 years.
We could do, or this could be the shake-up England needs in the Premier League to have teams who aren't used to the stale competition, but instead have got... This is their first ever year. They're going to be so up for it. Maybe that'll push them the distance. I think it's so early to predict it and say, oh, but it's the quality. If we've seen anything from the Premier League this year, it's that quality isn't a deciding factor. And if we've seen anything from England in previous European tournaments, in the Champions League and so on, it's that quality doesn't really mean you turn up. Because we haven't turned up in years in Europe. Maybe this will be... It can go either way as far as I'm concerned.
What benefited, though, is that they were pretty much out of every competition pretty early in the season. And they've played this season with only 23 outfield players getting games, which is tiny for a squad.
And they're going to get what?
They then do that on a Wednesday night and a Saturday night for how many months?
Yeah, you say that, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure the bottom place team will get £100 million. I don't know how much the top place team is going to get, plus Champions League money. They're going to have money to spend on the squad if they want, and they're going to have Champions League football to attract. Plus the players they've already got who will not be wanting to leave.
But does that then change the whole dynamic of what made Leicester good?
It might do, or it might be the stepping stone. This is what I'm saying. It's so unpredictable because we've not had this happen in so long that it's easy to say it's going to go badly because I think it's the same mentality that everyone's been saying Leicester will drop off. It's that same mentality. If they don't have the quality, it won't work out. I just think it's too early to call. At this point, this could be the exact shake-up the Premier League needs to start performing in Europe, or it could be our death knell for fourth place. It's one of those two things, probably.
The thing is on the other side of it, if Man City don't make it top four, that's a sad way for Pellegrini to end his reign there.
Yeah, but it's so much beautiful irony.
It's a great way for Pep to start, though.
It's fantastic. It's like, welcome to the Premier League. This is not what you're used to. Prepare to suffer.
All right, let's stick with the Champions League then. The Champions League draw was announced last week. City have got PSG in the next round. Tough tie for them, but not the worst tie they could have got. But
it's a game they can win. That's a game they can get a result. And if they got Barcelona or Bayern or one of those teams, you just sort of go, yeah, injuries they've got, they're going to get schooled. But a team like PSG, yes, they've got great quality. Yes, they have an excellent manager. All of that stuff. They're not quite that top tier though. They're not quite that world beaters through and through. A team like City and a team like PSG are well matched. And I think on the day when the football's getting played, I think City can pull that off. Even with the injuries, I think they can get the victory there. It will be
the
tight.
Injuries are too much.
Yeah,
I would have PSG as sort of around the fourth to sixth best team in the world at the moment.
Oh yeah, they're a top quality side. For me, if Man City didn't have the injuries, I would put them favourites to win. I make PSG slight favourites to win, but I do think because they are so closely matched, Man City can get a result, and because they will have that impetus of we are going to have a disastrous season unless we do better in the Champions League, they will have so much driving them forward for that game.
Well, Pellegrini said the only team he'd have preferred less was Barcelona. So he said it didn't really make a difference who they drew, whether it was PSG, Real Madrid. He said as long as it wasn't Barcelona, he wasn't too fussed.
Well, you're at that stage in the competition. It doesn't matter who you're playing, even if it's the likes of Benfica or Wolfsburg. They've shown they're top quality sides. You're at that level of that competition. Doesn't matter who you played. They're going to give you the game of your life. I do think it is a game they can get something from. And I am hoping they do. I don't like City. I've said this on the show before. I don't like them. I think they stand for pretty much everything that's wrong with football. But at the same time, England...
PSG.
Yeah, PSG do as well. And England have done so woefully in Champions League in the last few years. We've kind of just got to support whoever we've got stuck with. I'd prefer Man City were Leicester at this current time, and we're doing well in the Champions League, but can't all be winners. So,
do you think that what's happened with PSG in France will either benefit or hinder them?
What's happened?
Well, the fact that they've already won the title. They won 9-0 last weekend. Basically, they're now just playing friendlies.
It takes the pressure off them for sure, because they can sort of relax a bit and prepare more for the games. But at the same time, that relaxed attitude could accidentally leak into that game. It's a balance. You want to have a team that's relaxed but also up for a game, and it's which one accidentally becomes more prominent in the build up to that match.
I guess tactically in that they can prepare a couple of weeks before. They don't have to think about anything but these games against City. That's and
they're less likely to be getting injuries and stuff.
But at the same time, it can be a hindrance because all of a sudden you're going into each game now. You're a bit more relaxed, you're not really getting into it, so you kind of drop off your form a little bit. Your players drop off their confidence a little bit, and it all comes back to you. So it's a double-edged sword. It all depends on how those players respond to having those games, whether or not they use it as a time to recuperate a little bit and sort of get into a relaxed atmosphere appreciating their football, or whether or not they just take their foot off the gas. It's one of those two things.
All right,
I still think they'll be too strong for City, especially with the injuries that City have currently got.
There's a couple of other games. Bayern Munich, Benfica, Real Madrid, Wolfsburg. Can you guys predict anything other than Madrid and Munich to qualify?
I wouldn't bet against Wolfsburg, actually.
Is that a sign of how weak Real Madrid are then?
Well, it's not that Real Madrid are necessarily that weak. They've had a very unsettling season. I think a lot of their top players are very unsettled. And Wolfsburg are a very good side. They're one of those sides that have just been constantly underrated throughout this competition because they haven't.
They've not had a good season in the league, though, have they, this year?
No, but it's a bit like City in the competition at the moment. They're a very, very good side. They've got quality throughout that team, and I think a club like Real Madrid, especially considering that they're a bit unsettled, and they have that total arrogance that Real Madrid have. They're going to go up against a team like Wolfsburg. I think a lot of those players will not expect the game they're going to get. We saw it with Man United. I think we did see that with Man United against Wolfsburg. Didn't anticipate just how good that side was going to be. Real Madrid are very, very liable to go and take games too easily when they're actually going up against really good sides. So I don't think the Real Madrid-Wolfsburg game is as cut and dry as people say it is. I think Wolfsburg will give them a real game.
I think for me, with both games, it's a couple of games in which there's a couple of young players that can really sort of put themselves on the map. Which it's Draxler for Wolfsburg, who's been on the periphery of being a big name for about 2 or 3 seasons and just hasn't quite reached where he should have been at this point.
He's like 22, isn't he?
You see, I don't think he will ever become this great player, which everyone keeps hyping him up to be.
I think this season he's been showing it more consistently. I think Wolfsburg's the right club for him, and I can see him having a very good game. And the other one is a young lad for Benteke, who United are apparently very keen on, and as well as Real Madrid, which is Sanchez in the midfield, who's basically a younger version of Pogba. So I can see him.
I hate
doing
players
well.
who have the label of the next someone, especially when Pogba's like, what, 24? You're a bit young to have the next news already coming out.
Yeah.
I will say this about...
It's just in his style of players.
Yeah.
That's how he is.
I'll say this about Wolfsburg. They are exactly the kind of team Real Madrid do not like facing, which is strong throughout, no massively star players, but a core squad that's strong throughout. That's the kind of team Real Madrid hate facing. They love facing a team that's just like them, full of loads of attacking flair, but maybe not that great at the back, or really good defensively, but hasn't got a lot offering forward. They love playing teams like that, because they can just overload on them. A team that's strong throughout, that can pass the ball around, can defend properly, can attack properly, that's the teams Real Madrid hate playing. That's why they lose to Atletico every time. Because that's exactly what Atletico are. Just core strength throughout that team. So I think it's going to be a very tough game for them.
They're probably the most competitive game, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. That's the game, personally, I'm looking forward to the most.
Atletico, they're such an underrated side. They are top quality. Yeah, Barcelona are probably the best team in the world right now. They've got Suarez, Messi, Neymar, who are probably the 3 best attackers. Depends if you're counting Ronaldo. And I would say on this season, it's them 3. But again, it's a case of you can't rule out Atletico, because they are a team who are exactly like in this game, can play perfectly to the weakness of what Barcelona is, which is not liking a side that's going to defend properly, pass the ball properly, actually give them a full-on game. So
and then it really hits them at pace in the...
Yeah, I think a lot of people are sort of assuming that this Champions League is just going to end up being another Bayern Munich, Barcelona, PSG, Real Madrid. I think these games are actually very well matched in terms of the big teams going up against the exact kind of teams who can go and do something to them.
All right.
I think for me that's the hardest one to call of the 4 matches.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't call that at all.
I think I'd say, well, you'd have to say the obvious thing and probably say Barcelona are slight favourites, but it's not a massive...
I don't know, that's just one of those games I can see Atletico winning. That's just one of those games I can see Barcelona struggling with. In those typical, completely, you never see it happening, Barcelona just do not click going forward. I see it as very much being that type of game. So, that is a really tough
They're the one team that I think really will hurt Barca.
We shall see. In the Europa League, I guess the standout tie is Liverpool have got Dortmund after knocking out Man United. That should be a great tie for Jurgen Klopp going back there already.
It'll be a great tie, but I'm just going to say this first. I'm really looking forward to the Liverpool fans going to Dortmund and realising that they are not anything like the Dortmund fans that they're trying so hard to be. Because they have seriously got like a massive hard-on for trying to be Dortmund. You're not Dortmund. You won't ever be. Get over it.
Yeah, it'll be a wake-up call to see the level of support Dortmund show their club.
Yeah.
Who would you back to qualify?
Dortmund by a mile.
Liverpool are a good side, and with Klopp they've been getting better. And I will say this about the Southampton game the other week, which I was there at. Very unlucky to lose that game. They schooled us for a half. I mean, they just absolutely shat on us, and it might as well have been 6-0. They dropped off in the second half, of course. But Dortmund are... They're top tier Champions League quality. They could be in that current Champions League set we were just talking about, and their name wouldn't be a miss at all. The players they've got wouldn't be a miss at all. You wouldn't be betting against them to not go through to that next round. So as much as Liverpool are a good side, Dortmund are better. They're just better.
Did you read the other day about Dortmund this season? Even though they're not going to win the title, well, they're only 3 points behind Bayern.
5, I think.
But this is actually their best ever season points wise at this stage.
Yeah, that doesn't mean too much, though, because, I mean, Southampton have had their best ever season for the last, 3 years, and We just seem to finish 7th every time.
But it shows how good Bayern have been this season in the league. That Dortmund are actually having their best ever and still not going to finish winners.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. For me, I think I put it a simple way. If Dortmund were in the Premier League, and let's get rid of Aston Villa for the sake of it, who would be finishing higher, Liverpool or Dortmund? Dortmund. Every single time, and probably by 5 or 6 positions. So I would like to say Liverpool would win, because even though, again, like City, I don't like Liverpool at all, it's Europe, I've kind of got to back the English teams, but I just don't see any version of it where Liverpool get anything. And I think one of Liverpool's best players, you're probably going to hate me for this, Joe Allen, one of those players you need to see live to realise just how bloody good he is, but you compare him to the equivalent at Dortmund, it's a non-contest, isn't it?
All right,
the way that Dortmund as well just keep on bringing through the young players and hopefully don't have them stolen by Bayern every year, but like they've got another one this year that's probably going to get nabbed by City by the sound of it in Weigl.
But they're a bit like, for me, they're proof of the same kind of thing I've been saying about Tottenham. Give the players a chance and they will eventually prove themselves. Because Borussia Dortmund don't actually have the most amazing academy in the world. I think even Jurgen Klopp said it a few years ago. It's they're giving the players the chance, that's the big difference. And that's the major difference between Germany and England at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's some proposals to change the format of the Champions League. Probably won't come into force until the next TV rights in 2018-19 season. But I don't want to talk about wildcards because we had quite an in-depth discussion last week. The idea of clubs who don't qualify through the league, such as say Milan or Liverpool, getting an automatic entry. Want to avoid that, but this week it's been suggested we could have 2 big groups of 8 teams. So there'd be 16 teams in the group stage, and you'd add in an extra knockout phase. Do you guys think this would be a good idea to reinvigorate the Champions League?
So you're talking about the idea where they reduce the amount of teams in it?
Yeah, you have an extra knockout round instead of 32 in the group stage. There'd be 16 in total, and you'd have groups with 8 teams.
I personally think I prefer this idea to the ideas they've been having about the Super League and all the other psychopathic shit they've been saying. But at the same time, all this idea is we don't want to play the smaller teams. We just want this to be the big teams year in, year out, but just same old teams. This is just the big teams trying to get their way and somehow cut everyone else out of the Champions League. I don't buy that. I don't like that. You do that, you're taking teams like Porto, you're taking teams like Ajax, you're taking teams like Celtic, you're taking big, old teams with massive fan bases out of the Champions League, because they aren't going to go through in those qualifiers, are they? They're not going to go through when you're playing them against the likes of Atletico Madrid. As much as I do believe the dream can be alive where those sides can win the Champions League, you do it in those sort of fashion when it's happening, especially in pre-season. And it's just another way for the big money teams to say, oh, the Premier League's a bit scary and we need to start making sure we're earning more money, to sort of go, oh, we're up this level now, go away peasants, go away small teams where you don't have fans in China so you can't be part of this. Piss off with that. Football, sport, is about competition. You earn your place, that's it. That's it. You earn it, you get there.
Well, I was speaking to one Celtic fan. I read an article as well that's saying in Celtic's instance they would have to play 5 qualifying games, i.e. 10 games in total, 5 ties in order to get into the group stage.
How many hoops do some of these teams going to have to jump through before they're finally told they're good enough? It's ridiculous. They've earned the right to be there by being champions of their league.
But could you argue that there was the argument that there's too many uninteresting games and that the revenues of the Champions League have fallen behind the Premier League?
Yeah, and that's horseshit. I'm sorry, that is total horseshit. I read about this. It was they were saying Real Madrid versus Bate Borisov didn't attract the kind of attention. Yeah, and it was all that sort of stuff. And do you know what I was thinking? Yeah, okay, sure. Not everyone wants to see that game. It's not going to be the best thing for the big club in that. But I bet that made Bate Borisov fans' year. I bet that put money in their coffers, and I bet they bloody well needed it. Because here's the thing, football is not about the big clubs, football is about the whole, the collective, and that's all the little clubs outnumber you big clubs by a fuck ton. I don't mean to swear, but they do, and they are the ones that matter. So for these big clubs, it's just a way of finding their way to cut out the other guys, and so they can only play each other, and they can earn more money because it's going to get revenue in China and America and all that crap. Cut that shit out. This is football. This is about competition. This isn't about money.
Okay, could I argue, as it is the Champions League, it should be a competition for the big boys?
Yeah, if you're going to do it properly.
Well, it should, if it's the Champions League, it should be the competition for the champions.
Yeah, if you're going to do it properly, do it. If you're going to do it properly, yeah, no, fair enough. If you're going to do it properly, Cup Winners' Cup for the winners of the cups, and you put just the champions in every team that finishes first place.
Could you argue, say, a team such as Real Madrid, because they finished second or third in their league, shouldn't be in it, and it should be, say, Celtic instead?
Yes. Because no, if you're going to try and make this about a meritocracy, where it's the champions that do it, when you say that's it, cut off line, finish first place so you don't get in.
I'm not saying champions.
Right, but it's got to be the argument. This is the argument they're essentially trying to put across: is if we get less teams in, it's about being the champions. So it's either a meritocracy, or you're just trying to find some way of getting the big clubs in there, so they don't have to really try for it, and it's just the money thing. As much as I can understand that, if they're going to do it properly. Top club, no one else. But they're not going to do that, because the reason they expanded the Champions League in the first place was for money. It's always about the bloody money. That's it. That's all it comes down to. And if you're a football fan at this point, I'm not just someone who's going to say favour the status quo, but the current format is actually in its best state, because everyone gets a chance. It doesn't matter if you're the Dutch champions, the Scottish champions, or if you're the Spanish champions, you all get your shot at it. You all have a chance to win the biggest cup in the world in domestic football, in club football.
Could you make the argument it's generally the same teams or pretty similar teams which qualify from the group stages most years? You know, you tend to have... I bet if I got the 16 who qualified this year, it would be, say, 14 of the same as last year or something like that, if you generally...
It probably would be, and that exactly proves my point. If they were already getting there, then what the fuck are they complaining about? They just don't want to waste their time with the small teams. They just want to have only games against the big sides so they can get more revenue from it. That's it. That's all it is. Because if it isn't a problem, if the big sides are still getting through, why are they complaining? They just don't want... They're looking at things like Leicester, they're looking at things like Atletico Madrid, they're looking at these teams and looking at them and going, shit, they can knock us off our perch. We can end up becoming with teams like Leeds, like Liverpool, like Nottingham Forest, like Deportivo La Coruña. We can become these teams where we were a big club and we weren't, and they don't want that. They're afraid of that. So they want to cut these little teams out before they even get the chance. I'm sorry, no chance. Big clubs become small clubs become big clubs. That's what happens in football. Deal with it. Your time will eventually come to an end and someone else's time will happen. That's how it is.
Do you think the Europa League could be made better, though, if you've got these decent sides, because you've got 16 clubs who aren't good enough, if you want to put it that way, for the Champions League, that them 16 would then go in the Europa League. Could that improve that tournament and make it a more...
Then it's just a delineating scale of dropping people down, and then it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Well, they're saying they're looking into things to try and make the Europa League more prestigious and that. And
you want to make the Europa League more prestigious, make it the Cup Winners' Cup again. That was a great tournament. I don't know why they got rid of that.
Right. How... question for both of you. How could the Champions League be made better then? Is there anything that could be done, or is it perfect as it is?
It's not perfect, and yes, there are obviously ways that it's going to get improved, but at the moment it's in a very good state. I mean, let's put it this way. The money in the Champions League is higher than it's ever been. The money in just about every single league in Europe is higher than it's ever been. This isn't about clubs going, we're in the red, we're in trouble, we need more money. This is about clubs going, we're earning a lot of money, but wouldn't we like some more? That's all it is. So if they're going to change the Champions League, if they're doing it for a sporting purpose, they're doing it because they want to improve the calibre of the competition, they want to improve the competitiveness of the competition, if they want to make those changes, brilliant, go for it. If they're making these for money reasons, and all of these ones, when you come down to it, when you analyse it properly, are just money reasons, then no, I'm sorry, they can't do that. That's not what that's about. This competition has been around for far longer than these clubs have been making the mega bucks. That's how it is. So you can't just change it now to suit that.
Richard, you got...
I quite like it.
Have you got any quite like what? The
proposal. I was waiting after his 5-minute rant, but I'm not. I completely understand that it's monetary based. It's like the world as it is. That 1% of the people in the world have 60% of the world's wealth. It's the same with football.
Oh yes, but if we're going to go into shit world, then we might as well just say, can't we just burn half of it down? We've got to have idealism somewhere, and if we can't have it in football, where the fuck can we have it? If we can't be optimists for once in one tiny avenue of our lives, and let it be nowhere else but football,
I think it's only going one way.
And exactly, we need to fight with all our might. Because, the only reason they've made these proposals at the moment is because there was such a violent backlash towards them saying about the Super League. They're just backtracking. It's shown if the fans unite against something, they will stand down. That's the only reason this has come out at the moment. Keep up.
It will still happen. The Super League will end up happening.
We will fight progress for as long as we can.
And they will just tweak it every couple of years to make it a bit more like it. And it'll end up then being there without us knowing about it.
You're basically saying it's going to happen, so let's go for it. Say what? No. People have been doing that with the fucking Tories. Just accepting we're going to get a Tory government, so I'm going to vote for them. No.
Well, I really like the Champions League, and I like seeing the games between all the
Tories.
I'll be honest. I think back to Man United this season. I was pretty happy when the group stage got announced because we had 3 decent opponents. It wasn't like 1 good opponent and 2 nothings.
Yeah, but
I thought it made it interesting.
At the same time, what was it? It was PSV, Wolfsburg, and
Moscow, CSK Moscow.
Yeah, and I guarantee 2 of those sides wouldn't have got in otherwise. Moscow.
Well, no, because CSK Moscow will be, as it stands, will be in the pot 1 for next year.
Will they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're winning at the moment, aren't they? Their league.
Yeah.
But they're a Russian side, so they'd have to jump through all the bloody hoops they had to, just like.
No, because the Russian side, the Russian sides have overtaken the Dutch league for the last pot, so they will get in the pot A now.
Oh, then we're probably saying goodbye to PSV.
Yeah.
Another great, storied, historical side. It's
Ajax this year, looking like it, the Dutch champs.
This is just... I can get the argument that there's a good chance it will eventually change towards something more monetary based, but that's no reason to support it. That's no reason to say, let's go for this. It's a reason to say we have to fight this, and at the least, offer up a better opposition. Because right now, I don't see that there's that much wrong with the Champions League. The money's going up, it's only going to keep going up. Why do we have to keep pursuing even more? It's working, it's good, it's making money. The football clubs across Europe are finally starting to become financially solvent en masse. We've been years in the making for that. What's so wrong with what's going on at the moment that we have to change it?
Well, I
just want lots more games between all the really good clubs.
Then watch the pre-season International Champions Cup with all the other Chinese people.
Can I just say, like in Manchester, at both United and City, they struggle to sell tickets to the Champions League group stage because it doesn't. The games, there tends to be dead robbers and stuff. There's always cheap tickets available.
City struggled selling for the quarter-final.
Yeah, they did.
I got there on a freebie, and there was half a stand that was completely empty.
All right, I think we can leave that there. I think we've said everything there is to say. I just want to finish the show to talk about Johan Cruyff, who died today. He died aged 68 from lung cancer. He's considered, one of the greatest players of all time. I'm sure everyone's aware of who he was. He won the Ballon d'Or 3 times, and in 1974 he won the World Cup as well as Player of the Tournament. I'm obviously too young to have remembered him, but I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. I was watching some this evening, and an incredible player to watch. Great dribbler of the ball, and yeah, I rest in peace, and I hope his family and everyone, as well.
I think for me, he was the greatest European player of all time.
And one of the most revolutionary coaches of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, he changed football on the continent completely. And
he changed it as a player and as a manager.
Yeah, you look at the likes of Ajax, you look at Barcelona, you look at the Spain national side. What happened at those clubs was because of Cruyff. He's the one who laid all the foundations for it. So it's a total legend. He was the player renowned for total football, and in his entire career, player, coach, manager, he was a total legend. No question about that.
Okay. Thanks for joining me tonight for the show. You can follow us on V2 at V2 Football. You can check out our YouTube page, our YouTube channel. There's also the 72 show which we recorded this week. Check that out. And if there's nothing else, it's good night from me and good night from Shane and Richard.
Good night.